Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's story is a excellently and deliciously frightening campfire story set with a Boy Scout camp, and as legends, Native American legends told, just mentioning some of these creatures' names and speaking of them would indeed attract them to certain people. So bear that in mind. Very chilling thought to have that amount of power over us. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, guys. Please, of course, do share and like. Without further ado, let's get into tonight's story, entitled Don't Say Its Name. Let's get straight into that. I've been working at a Boy Scout camp for several years now. I've told many a campfire story on our various outposts, but nothing scared me until one of those tales came to life. I was a scout craft instructor, meaning it was my job to teach wilderness survival to the kids that cycled through each week. The first 2 days I would teach them any skill that was required or that I felt necessary for our outpost later in the week. Usually on these outposts I would take the kids to get their meds, and then we would walk to get the other side of the lake where we had a site that they could build their shelters. Usually, once we got there, the kids would get their shelters set up for the night while I got the fire going. Then, we would dick around and for several hours or so. Then I would tell a ghost story or play mind games with the kids until we were all exhausted. I did until that night at my camp. We were given a night off that we could leave camp and hang out. I like to spend my nights out walking out to the shell pit or sitting by the bridge looking at the lake as the sun goes down. That night I took my normal walk up to the shell pit to sit on the shell pile and just listen to the world around me. The night I was sitting on the shell pile was just watching the woods when I saw it dash through the trees. It was a large figure running faster than I had ever seen anything through the woods, smashing completely through branches 10 and 12 feet above the ground. I wasn't sure what I had just witnessed, but I knew I was getting the hell out of here and back to the main camp. Once back in main camp, I racked my brain for what it could have been. Living in Pennsylvania, I knew we didn't have any giraffe running through the woods, so what could have been that tall? Finally, I started asking the staff if they'd seen anything like that around in the past. The staff member I asked got a very scared look on his face and told me to shut up and pulled me away to where no one else was. He asked me what kind of stories I'd been telling the kids at outposts. I told him I'd been telling them the tale of the Wendigo. His brow furrowed and he told me, watch your back and keep an eye on the shadows. Always get a fire going as soon as you get to the outpost. Whatever you do, don't say the name or repeat that story. Names have power. You've heard some of the tales about devil worshippers summoning demons here. They weren't stories. I've seen shit in these woods, and I wish that I could forget. Fire will keep it away. I thought he was joking, but one look at his face, you could see the fear in his eyes. I nodded and said that I understood. The next morning, I went about my normal jobs, teaching badges and such, trying to ignore the feeling that something was watching me. The day at the outposts, I went about my normal protocol with the meds, then shepherding the kids out to the site. While they built their shelters, I gathered as much firewood as I could find in the area and got a massive bonfire going like I was told to. The feeling that something was watching me didn't go away, and I refused to sleep that night. Around 2 a.m, I heard the howl of a creature hunting. I piled on as much wood as I could onto the fire and I lit a torch I had prepared earlier that night. I heard howls the rest of the night, but the sound was farther away every time. The next morning, I took the kids back and tried to forget what I'd heard, but it nagged at me until the next week. When I took the kids up to the site that week, I found claw marks and shredded branches near where I collected my firewood. That was the night I saw it. There was no howling that night, but I kept the fire blazing just in case. I was glad I did when I saw something at the ridge of the clearing. It was a large, shadowy figure, probably 9 feet tall, with a pair of antlers that added at least 3 feet to its overall height. The eyes had to be the worst part. Glowing red orbs, almost like the coals of fire I was feeding. I don't know what came over me, but in a rush of adrenaline and pure stupidity, I pulled a branch out of the fire and ran straight towards it with a flaming stick. The Wendigo growled at me for a second before turning around and dashing away with otherworldly speed. I haven't seen it since, and I hope I never have to. I can still feel it watching me when I'm out there at the edges of camp. Occasionally, I'll see a scratch on a tree from it. The beast has stalked my nightmares for months. Don't say its name. It might come for you next. Wow, hope you guys enjoyed that short story there. I do love a good Wendigo story. Please do let me know down below what your thoughts, and of course please do like and share. And remember guys, if you're going camping this weekend, remember, be safe, not sorry.